I am the first one here, guys. There's nobody here right now except for the employees of Laguna Seca. There's nothing around me. I am the first car in the paddock. I mean, look around. It's kind of weird. It's a little bit weird, but I'm happy I'm here. I forgot my hat at home, so long hair don't care. We're down at Laguna Seca. We're here for the big shakedown. I've been waiting for this day. Probably got a little anxious, which is why I'm here a little bit earlier than expected. But I'm setting up the car now. Let's get to it. Let's get this car unloaded. That's a go juice right there, guys. Okay, so I have a confession to make. You guys know I made a lot of changes to the car before the last time I was out here. The last couple of days, or the last week I should say, I made another big change, and last night I was editing the video, and as I was editing the video, my laptop fell off of the bed and landed directly on the memory card that was sitting out of the side of my laptop. I use a Mac Pro. The adapter is such that the video card sticks out, and it landed right on the video card, destroying the footage. So no excuses. I really wanted to get that video out to you guys today. This video will be out a few days later because of the editing process. So I couldn't share with you, at least in video, what my last upgrade was before today. Here it is, guys. Okay, I'm sorry I don't have a more in-depth video, but here it is. The last thing that I did before track day. That is the 6-pot AP Radical Pro 5000 brake kit for the Honda Civic Type R. Super excited to see how this does on track. There's a lot of specs on that brake kit that I went over in my video that I now lost. So I'm sorry again that I don't have that footage for you, but we're gonna get to see what that does today along with everything else that I've done. And there is, of course, my Lucky Charm, my son's little turtle toy that always hangs above his baby seat that sits here normally. He's at home sleeping with Mama. I always bring him with me though. See you at home soon, Enzo. People are shuffling in now. I'm almost done with my prep work. I wanted to give you guys a shot of the brakes before we head out, before I put the wheel on. There is the brake kit. And as I mentioned before, I've had a lot of changes done to the car since my last track day. If you guys haven't been following along, there's the OHLINS coilover suspension. I've already set it to what I think we're going to start with for the track setting. I'm going to finish putting the wheels on, and then we're going to get ready for session 1. PRL high volume intake. The Mishimoto was taken out. I have, maybe you can see it in there, PRL charge pipe kit, and that is mated to the new HKS front mount intercooler. Mishimoto came out in favor of that as well. Also new, which we already went over, brake kit, 6-pot calipers in the front, new fluid, new pads, and OHLINS suspension. And then of course this beautiful race brake components chassis mounted splitter with the Varus canards. And the big ass wing. APR to finish it all off. All right, session 1/2 is done. Let me explain why there's a /2. So this is my first time, or this is my second time with this race club that organized this event here today, Northern California Race Club. Great guys. They've always been really nice and they're very professional. But their policy is that you need 20 plus track days to be an open passing. I don't have that kind of experience, so I did ask for a checkout ride. If you're nice about it, you send them an email, you talk to them about it, they'll give you a checkout ride and they'll see if you fit well in the group that you want to go to. So what I did, the policy for Laguna Seca is you do the group that you were signed up for, and then you do the group that you want to go into with an instructor. He'll take a look at everything, look at your car, make sure you're doing all the right things, make sure you're not doing anything radical on the track, anything that's putting anybody in danger. Have a look at your awareness level, and then he'll decide from there if you belong in the open group or whatever group it is you're trying to go into. So fortunately, everything worked out, everything checked out, so you'll probably see some in-car footage with somebody in the car with me. That's the instructor. Since we came off of the track, my GoPro didn't work the first session, but that doesn't matter. That was just warm-up session. Second session, you should have some footage there. I went ahead and pulled the front tires off and stiffened up the suspension a little bit more with the OHLINS. You don't need to remove the tires in the back to adjust it, so I kept those on. So we're a little bit firmer now, and we'll see how it feels this next session. Found a hat, so I'm good now. So done with session 2, done with officially what was session 2 in open passing. Car feels good. Definitely making some adjustments. You know, the car feels different, so much that I feel like I'm still learning the braking points because the brakes are so much better. I'm still figuring out how much the suspension will help hold the tires on the road before it starts to give. I just made more tweaks to the suspension, so we'll see what difference that makes, but it's tough. You know, it's definitely a lot of respect to the guys out there that can break 140 on this track, because that is crazy fast. I know the car is capable. I just got to keep working on my driver mod. So we're gonna go get lunch now, and then we'll get ready for session 3. Alright, session 3 done. A lot of traffic this round. There was a Porsche that lost their engine about 3/4 of the way through the session. It was a full course black flag, so everybody pulled in. I feel like I'm starting to get used to how the car is set up now. I think the damping settings are where they need to be. Just need to work on my comfort level on a couple of turns. I know there's a lot more time left out there. Let's see what it looks like the next session. Hopefully we have less traffic. Time to refuel. any idea how disappointing it is to get another PB and still be so disappointed? So, first session of the day. My previous best was 141.32. That was the last time I was out here. Made a bunch of changes to the car. First session out, 141 flat, 141.09. So already PB'd. So I'm thinking, okay, great. We got the rest of the day. Let's try and get more. We need to make some tweaks on the car, make a few adjustments. Now I feel like I'm actually getting used to the adjustments and some of the changes on the car. But now it feels like, I don't want to make excuses, you know, it's me. It's me. I need to work on my driver mod, right? So, of the mods that I have on the car now, I need to find it within myself to make the most out of those mods, and I'm just not getting it done. You know, we've got one more session, I believe, before the end of the day. Traffic is getting a little bit lighter. I was held up by a Porsche and an M3 last session, which is kind of weird to say, but it's more commonplace in a Civic Type R than you know. But here we go. You know, it's like we're just gonna keep trying, guys. That's what we got to do. We're here to try. We're gonna keep pushing. Okay, so here we are the day after track day. I didn't want to just end the video where it looked like it was going to end, because I wanted some time to reflect on the track day, the mods, what I noticed, and what I observed, especially after looking back at my footage. So here's what I can take away. First off, I want to point out, and I think you guys already know, just based on my reaction earlier in the video, that I did get a new personal best, but only by 0.3 of a second. And while I should probably look at that as a positive, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed. So we made quite a bit of changes to the car since our last track visit to Laguna Seca, namely the front mount intercooler, the charge pipe kit from PRL, PRL high volume intake, the AP big brake kit, and all the AERO. So a lot of changes, right? Oh, and the OHLINS suspension. So many mods since our last visit that I can't even remember all of them. But I spent most of the day trying to figure out how the car was going to handle. And I think I finally did that towards the end of the day, figuring out what dampening settings I need on the OHLINS to make the most use of the tires and the grip conditions that I had at the moment. What I didn't pay as much attention to, and that's to my own fault, is how the power was coming on. And when I looked back at my footage, I realized, and remembering what I saw in the cabin as I was driving, that when I came out of slow turns, my traction control light was just flashing like a Christmas tree. And I didn't have that problem the prior visit because my power curve was different this time around than it was before. I'll explain. So before I had the Mishimoto intercooler without any type of charge pipe kit, and this time around I have the HKS intercooler with a PRL charge pipe kit. Well, if you saw in one of my previous videos, I did mention how my boost came on way earlier in just my initial reaction when I had those mods done. And that absolutely translated onto the track in a positive way, but I didn't adjust to it. So I was losing a lot of time with the car basically not accelerating out of the turns like it could, because I was just mashing the gas pedal and the traction control was just going nuts and I wasn't going anywhere. where before I could just mash on the gas pedal, the boost lag was so bad with the Mishimoto setup that it didn't matter if I mashed on the gas pedal, I wasn't losing traction. And by the time I was straight enough, the boost had finally come on and I was gone. So I needed to adjust that part of my driving, and I did not. Again, it's all me, right? And I think what I could say is I got a new personal best at Laguna Seca in spite of my lack of driver skill. In other words, the mods were doing exactly what they were intended to do. They were working beautifully. In fact, they were working so good that it was too big an adjustment for me and my level of skill to make a positive difference in that short a time. So the takeaway, the final thought. Here's my final thought on all this. I'm really happy with the mods. I think everything made an appreciable difference. Now I got to work on me. I got to work on the driver mod. And I made no secret of that from the beginning. I'm not only here to have fun with my car and mod it and have fun with you guys doing these videos for you guys, but now it's time for me to work on the driver mod, which is absolutely one of my big plans for 2020. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed the content, please hit like, subscribe. I really appreciate you guys doing that. It helps support me and helps me keep making these videos for you. And as always, stay hungry, stay fast, stay tuned. I'm Michael Baxi and I'm out.
Just bounce to it. Everybody wanna come, I'm announcing it. I'm always gon' get it, I'm always gon' get it. Even if you sit back denouncing it. But I'm a good kid, I rock gold, I'm never gon' sleep with ya. I loved you, I've been wrong, but let me see the whole damn picture.